6 million years ago. Africa. The continuous glaciations that hit the planet have divided the continent in two. In the western part, the African forest. In the eastern part, the savanna, the so-called Rift Valley, the cradle of civilization. Here, food on trees is scarce, and the monkeys are adapting to climate change, making a decision that will forever change the history of human evolution. To come down from the trees, stand on 2 feet, and face the dangers of the prairie in search of food. Thus, the anthropomorphic monkeys are born, with a characteristic very similar to ours. They are bipedal. After more than 3 million years, they have learned to walk better, while still finding refuge in trees. Their brain has become larger. It's the time of the Australopithecus. Is it one of our ancestors? Actually, if we tried to draw our family tree, we would realize that our evolution is not linear but bushy. There are a series of branches between very different species until we reach the Homo genus, of which we are the last successors. The Australopithecines spread throughout Africa, differentiating and forming a series of subspecies, each with its own characteristics. But life in Africa becomes increasingly difficult. Aridity makes plant resources scarcer. The hominids must find other solutions to survive, and it is precisely these choices that lead the evolutionary tree to branch out even further. The Paranthropus remain vegetarian and become extinct after 1.5 million years, leaving no descendants. Other hominids, instead, feed on the carcasses of animals killed by large predators. The protein in meat further transforms their brain, which reaches considerable dimensions. It is able to think, adapt to the environment, build and use tools, and even handle fire. We are 2.5 million years ago. We are at the dawn of one of the greatest changes in the history of the planet. The Homo genus is born. The first hominid of this fortunate species is Homo habilis. Not having claws or teeth typical of large predators, these hominids create the bifacial lax, a sharp stone with which to cut meat and crush the bones of prey more quickly. The brain mass further grows. Their social interaction also grows. These adaptations lead to the birth of a new species, Homo ergaster. For the first time in history, after thousands of years spent as prey, man becomes a hunter. The ergaster also conquers another record. He walks outside of Africa, reaching Asia. Here he is known as Homo erectus. We are about 200,000 years ago. While Africa is arid, in Europe the climate is glacial and very harsh for survival, so the hominid body has been modified to withstand the freezing temperatures. The Homo neanderthalensis is born. Very evolved, intelligent, and with a very complex social structure. Thanks to these characteristics, the Homo neanderthalensis manages to survive for millennia in extremely inhospitable lands, becoming extinct about 30,000 years ago. Meanwhile, in Africa, the Homo genus evolves again, and the last species of this great family of hominids is formed. Now they are able to sow clothes, dedicate themselves to art, practice agriculture, adapting the landscape in which they live to their own needs. 100,000 years ago, this species leaves Africa to populate the whole world, building cities and even reaching the moon. It is the only species capable of resisting the dangers of time. It is Homo sapiens. It is us.
If you like this video, subscribe to the channel and click on the bell icon to not miss out on the upcoming content.